Hey guys, you're watching Couch Surfing with Mel and Matt, and we've got two awesome people right now on the couch from Mortality. Introduce yourself, guys.
I'm Luke Ford, I play bass.
Darren Maloney on vocals.
Cool. Boys, this is an absolute privilege having you guys join this couch.
Likewise.
Episode 56. The boys are back together.
We are.
How's it going? How's it all been going? Yeah,
Good. We, Darren and I started writing over COVID, as a lot of people did, I think. We just found ourselves with some extra time, and it wasn't going to be Mortality at the time. We were just, writing with no agenda. And then after a while, we came to the realisation that sounds a lot like Mortality for some reason.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So we thought, you know what, let's why reinvent the wheel? We've got something here already that we can use. Myself, after doing MM9 for so long, I was still, relatively heavy to a degree, but it wasn't metal.
Yeah,
And I did miss that. And just the opportunity to, use something that was already ours, that we put a lot of time into growing up. And just now it's just a matter of finding the right people to join us. Unfortunately, Steve Pell, our old drummer, is in Melbourne now, so logistically it just wasn't possible. And Craig, guitarist, is off doing other things, so we just needed to find the people that we didn't want to go out and advertise. We didn't want to do that whole piece.
Yeah, of course. It's always a challenge.
Yeah, so we ended up reaching out to Aaron, who used to play in Days End. And he said yes, so we were stoked because we'd played with him since he was 14 years old.
Yeah, of course.
Playing in pubs with a band called Depression.
Yeah.
And he was a shredder then. He's always been a great guitarist, and I've always wanted to play with him. We both have. And then he recommended Jason, who was also in Days End, and Mortality was always a one guitar band. So to have the opportunity to have two and fatten up the sound and bring some extra dynamics into it, especially for writing new material, was really exciting.
Yeah. Cool.
Then we tried out a few drummers. Ended up with Dave Peters, who played in Project 34 and Bane of Isildur, toured Japan. We hadn't worked together or didn't know Dave, but he came in and just fit like a glove. He's got a tough gig in Mortality, playing drums for Mortality, because it's so syncopated and technical. And it's just been going great guns. So we've been back rehearsing, writing, and we're off.
So these new members, have they brought new elements to the band itself?
New elements and just new motivation and drive, and if we slack off, they pick us up.
Yeah.
And the dynamic is, we just got in there and pretty much started playing the songs straight away. And again, these are songs where you can't really jam on, you just have to know them. And everyone's great players, so everyone can just pick it up and go.
Yeah, cool.
And the writing, obviously there's different. We don't want it to stay the same. We don't want it to sound like structure, but we still want to honour what it is that we did. So we're trying to evolve based on that.
Yeah, cool. So what are the plans? I guess there's a lot of people watching this now going, what's going to happen? You guys got that gig happening in Brisbane, which is going to be a great festival. It's a big lineup as well. But then any plans to play any other shows coming up towards the end of the year, or?
Yeah, so ideally before. So we want to do a couple of Sydney shows prior to the Necrosonic Festival in Brisbane, which is late August 31st, I think is the exact date. That's with Lowen, Psychotic, and a ton of other bands. So it'd be good to see some friends on the day, but just getting back and playing. But we're looking to do some Sydney shows around July prior. Nothing too major, just to get back on stage and start doing what we do again.
Absolutely.
It's different than a rehearsal room, so we just want to shake off the cobwebs and go. We're ready. Let's go.
100%.
Yeah.
So, is there a favourite show you guys have played over the years? You've played countless amount of gigs back in the 90s at the Hall of the Castle. I can't name all the venues you guys have probably played. They were some of the best bands back in the days, supporting Sepultura as well.
That was a huge deal.
Yeah, that would have been massive.
Yeah. Actually, I was in bed for 3 months with glandular fever leading up to that.
Oh wow.
And it didn't look like I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And Ken from Neophobia actually was rehearsing with the guys as a backup.
Yeah, right.
Pretend Darren.
And it was only 2 days before the actual show, and I was down to a little bit over 60 kilos. I hadn't eaten much for 3 months. I was really sick.
Yeah.
I said there was no way I was missing it.
Mm.
So I went down, got a hamburger and chips, and just did it. So
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
If you're ever sick, hamburger and chips is the way to go.
yeah,
Science.
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 Absolutely.
Yeah.
had to eat, and I wasn't going to miss that.
Mm.
Secretary was hugely influenced, a big influence on us
For sure.
back then. That's when Rise and all that
Chaos AD tour.
chaos.
Yeah.
So to miss that would have been something I would have regretted for the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was. Don't know if it was a favourite show ever because I was shitting bricks. But,
Yeah.
but it's definitely up there.
We were so young, you know, we were only 20, 21 at the time, playing to a, you know, normally a support act would sort of have a half-filled Horden, but it was full. We were backstage, we'd have the curtain and a little torch, and we'd put back and shine the torch, and you hear the crowd go, shit. It's absolutely terrifying, but we got on, and the guys from Sacred Reich were there as well, behind us, you know, pushing us on, and it was just great. It was, an amazing experience.
Yeah. What was it like back in the 90s too? Like myself, I started seeing gigs back in the late 90s. I would love to have seen what it was like back then. You know, for a band that was playing constantly back then, what was it like for you guys playing all these shows? You know?
It was an interesting period because you've had the bands like Addictive and Mortal Sin at the time, and they, you know, either gone off or so there was a hole in the scene at the time. So bands like us and Cryogenic, which Maloney ended up going to sing with. And Neophobia, we had this little scene going, and you know, sort of all based around the haunted castle Lewisham. And slowly we just built it. We played a lot of all ages shows, you know, out west in St Mary's, and just built our following slowly. We go and do poster runs constantly. Our advertising was just relentless.
Yeah.
I found in Parramatta, I was working there one day, and there was a poster I found that we used flour and water and glue posters on the wall.
Yeah.
And I found one like 20 years later, still holding strong.
That's it.
Yeah, it's still there. They couldn't get it off.
It's just permanently stuck
Screw
there.
it, we'll just leave it, it's too hard. So we just really were relentless with that.
Yeah.
Pocket full of stickers wherever we went.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally we'd tour and drive through at McDonald's, we'd be putting stickers everywhere and just, relentless.
Yeah.
There's no internet, so...
Well, that's right. Well, it was better to jump to that too. Like these days, it's so easily accessible now. You know, you can just post something there on Facebook and get the traction and create your own events. Do you see that being a bit different? Obviously, it is different, but
I think the only concern is that there's potential for saturation. So you know, and just getting, you know, obviously, you know, certain websites put the brakes on advertising unless you sort of pay for play. So we're obviously conscious of that, and there is ways around that, and we'll definitely be utilising that as well.
Yeah, sure.
So it's just different. Yeah, it's, you know, it's always been challenging, especially for, you know, metal bands.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, the lack of support. I think the industry now, there isn't one, effectively due to, you know, streaming. There's no tangible product that you can sell. I know albums are making a comeback, but the reality is, you know, your music's effectively a business card for people to come to your live shows.
Yeah.
And these days we're doing it for the love. You know, we're not trying to take over the world. We just want to go and smash it, and do what we love. And if people come, great. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, what's your opinion on today's metal scene? Is there some bands that you're really digging at the moment?
Yeah, there's like bands like Psychroptic and Love Low.
Yeah, a good band.
I'm good mates with Adrian, the drummer. And he's they're just killing it. You know, it's dark stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I just keep my eye on the scene. I can see there's a lot of, you know, new wave of, you know, thrash bands coming up. So I think, you know, the good thing about metal is it always finds a way. You know, it finds a way. Even if, you know, the venues close down, we'll just figure out somewhere else to play, and that's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, sure.
And Sydney's starting to open up a little more, thankfully. Venues that, you know, I used to play, especially say M9 with the Annandale, and they're just all gone. So in that form.
Yeah, for sure.
So it'd be good to see what's up.
So with the band, are you guys working on some new music at the moment? I've been writing some new stuff or focusing on the old stuff.
The focus has really been on structure, the album.
Yeah.
Get the guys and ourselves locked in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And like Luke was saying, we've spent a year and a half writing songs. I built a little studio at home, and Luke's got one as well. And
cool.
Yeah. So that was what we did for a year and a half, and but with rehearsals now, it was really about us locking in the five of us, which I think we're nearly there.
Yeah, we didn't want to come back and make it seem like we've been away. We wanted to come back that we're actually better than what we were.
Don't want to come back and people say you should have stayed.
Which sometimes does happen. So
yeah,
so it's got to be as good or if not better.
If not better, yeah.
So.
But yeah, new material on the way. In answer to your question, yeah,
Cool.
Fantastic. But we're just taking our time with it, making sure it's right.
It's right, yeah.
And it sounds like Mortality, which is
absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't sound like a Eurodance band or anything like that. Yeah.
And we're a lot more mature. Like it's as musicians, you're taking things a lot more serious.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild back in the day.
Yeah, it would be.
We're not quite as distracted.
So yeah, and it shows too. Just you can feel it at like when we rehearse. Everyone's got their heads where they need to be.
Excellent.
And that wasn't always the case back in the day. It was part of the scene back then. It was all the fun that went with it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it was enjoyable.
That's right. Yeah.
But it wasn't always good for the band,
Yeah. Yeah.
For live shows and that particular thing when you're, a little bit influenced.
A few too many beers.
Yeah. That's a nice way.
Yeah. So I think the work ethic now is very strong. We're not here to fuck spiders, we're here to work. So
good stuff. Now, is there any advice that you give out to young bands? There's probably a lot of bands out there watching this now who've been influenced by both of you guys over the years. Any advice you give to these kids that starting a band?
Jam, play, practice every day. Just practice every day, even if it's 10 minutes a day, practice every day. That's the most important thing you can do is practice. Don't just talk about what it is that you're going to do. Don't talk about it until you're ready. I think that's a bit of the downside with the internet potentially. There's a lot of people talking about what they're going to do without having the foundation first in place.
Yeah, for sure.
My son, for example, he's drumming and he's practicing every day like a demon, blasting away. And the level of skill that you can see growing from that is you can see it's tangible. Yeah,
And stick with it. Stick with your. Remember why you formed your band, and keep that with you. Don't lose sight of. Don't lose sight of where you want to be. Like, don't get influenced. Be your own influence. I think it's important.
Jumping on bandwagons, you're already late.
Yeah. It's like Mortality coming back together. The music's still relevant. You may not. It's easy to get disheartened.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard slog.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And don't think that you got to change who you are to get to where you want to be. You got to remember who you are and be true to that. I think that's what Mortality is now. It is who we are, and it's really when you are your true self. I think you're not worried about work.
Yep.
Or anything like that.
100%.
You get to be yourself.
Absolutely. Now you guys are online as well now. If people want to find out about the band, you got the Newly Facebook page.
Yeah, Facebook full of lots of old photos and material and updates and things like that.
Looking at that actually.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of good stuff there.
The ravages of time have not been kind. But Yeah, we'll be an online presence, and we're starting to ramp all that up. We'll have a separate site as well, but that's all happening now. Just getting back used to getting our photos taken and everything again.
Yeah, always fun. Boys, thank you so much for this. Darren, absolute privilege to be chatting to you guys. And check out Mortality.
Thank you.